Hi everyone. I just thought I'd do a quick little garden update on this Memorial Day weekend, and I hope everyone has a very safe and happy Memorial Day weekend. And these are the flowers of Mama's that I'm drying. I know they need to be in a dark place, but I just haven't had time to move them, but they seem to be doing pretty good. And if you're friends with me on my personal Facebook, I kept telling everybody that I kept hearing a kitty cat. And finally the other day I saw it. It's got to be around 6 or 7, maybe 8 weeks old, because its eyes are open. And I saw it eating, and it's real wild, and the mama cat's still around too. Looks just like the mama cat. Oh good. Oh good, there's Kitty. See it? Ain't it just cute? And the mama takes it out to the squirrel area to play. I don't understand that. But it won't come up to me. Come here, kitty, kitty. It's like I can see it trying to meow. I just can't hear it. It's hiding behind this hose pipe box. Come here, kitty, kitty. Come here, kitty, kitty. Come here, kitty, kitty. Hey, kitty, kitty. And it lives under my house. Under my porch. Go figure. So the other day I did have a chance. The weeds in my garden was as full and as big as I was. So, and this lemon balm plant and this oregano plants right here, I've had these planted, I know, 5 years, and I don't have any luck with herbs, but this oregano just keeps coming back. And excuse how dirty my porch is. This part's looking good, and this little garden's looking pitiful because I had to neglect it like for a whole month. Like I say, it was just full of weeds. So took me hours to get out here, and a lot of my flowers have died, and we still got to finish this walkway. And here's my strawberry plants full of blooms and strawberries. So I hope nothing gets a hold of them. Let me zoom you back, and here's our little garden. We've gotten the fence post up to put some wire or rope or something to let our beans climb up it, because they're just joining each other right in there. Like I say, we ain't had much time. But see how pretty these lima beans are doing? And then the butter beans. And look, on my green beans, which these are, let's see, it just says Bush Blue Lake, but look, we got blooms on them. So it shouldn't be long, we should be having some green beans. These are my bell pepper plants. They're full of blooms, and I have a few little bell peppers coming on and growing. There's a couple of little ones. Let me zoom you out so I can see. It's hard to see with the sun reflecting in, but hopefully you can see them little baby. Let me put my hand on it. And look at our potatoes. They're doing real good. And I want to thank E from the Empty Nester for answering all of my questions that I give her about our garden and about our excuse me, and about our potatoes. We've never planted them before. So I'm going to link her channel, and y'all go check her out. She has some great videos. We've got jalapenos growing. And yes, I need to get out here and weed in this garden. I just ain't had a chance. And our onions are being taken over by the weeds. Now, for the past few years, we had this happening to our tomatoes, where they turn yellow and get the black spot. So we planted them in buckets. Well, now they're getting them again. Not gonna worry about it too much, but we got tomatoes and they're full of blooms. We've got tomatoes down in there. We got some tomatoes down in here growing. I love homegrown tomatoes. So, here's our little garden update. And again, I want to thank everyone for their love and support during our trying time. Okay, if you want to skip this part, you can. I've shared with a few people what's been going on at my house since Mama passed. And most of you know she passed in my home, which is fine. Everybody was worried if I could handle it. It was my mama, come on. But I sleep on the couch because of the neck injuries that I have. And I kept Mama in the living room too. It was the biggest room in the house. So there's been things that has happened in this house. This house is very old. And when we bought the house 20 years ago, it was meant just to be our starter home. But we're still here. So, since Mama passed, like that day, I had Richard and Alex go in. I sat outside and raised all the windows in the house, and we burned candles and everything, because that's what people tell me to do. So for 2 nights, I didn't sleep in the living room. I wouldn't go in the living room or nothing. So on the 3rd night, I figured, okay, I can do this. And I had a bad dream. And the first night, Richard slept in the living room. And he said that he could hear faint voices and faint laughter. So, like a couple of nights later, when I was sleeping in here, do you know how in a cowboy movie when they would show the scenes of someone walking up with heavy cowboy boots and a lot of buckles, and they kind of walk slow, like going to a showdown or something? I could hear it walk all the way down my hall slowly, and it stopped right when it got to my head. And so when I got the nerve to look up, as soon as I looked up, something grabbed my leg. And it wasn't like nothing jumped on my leg. It was like grabbed my leg like that. It was like heavy. Scared me so bad. And then again, I would have dreams or nightmares of dead people, like laughing and stuff. But the other night I had a dream that really stood out. But after I had this dream, which I'm about to tell, the other night my son came upstairs and he said, "What does it mean when you see orbs?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said the other night he just saw this white orb just floating in his room. So, but when we were little, well, Mama had a house, and that's like where all of my aunts and all were born in. Not born in the house, born at a hospital, but even we were born there. So that house is very familiar to us, and had a lot of good memories there. It was an older house and didn't really have a hallway. Like you walked in and here was like the living room. You go on through and it was like a kitchen that had a little sitting room, and off to the side was Mama's room. But back to the living room, when you walked in and go off to the side, here's a bedroom, bathroom, and a little bedroom. In my dream, it was me, my mom, Mama, but Mama didn't talk, my kids and my sister's kids, but when they were little, and all of my aunt's kids when they were little. And it was like we was going back to visit the house. And there was a man in this dream, but it was like I knew the man. I wasn't afraid of the man. It was like he was familiar to me. But it's like we were there visiting, but we was going to stay the night. And it was like stormy outside, and I remember holding the front door shut because it was so old, because I didn't want like nobody to know we was in that house. And when you walk in the living room, in that room right off to the left was my mom and some of the kids. But there was this baby. And this baby seemed to be around 18 months old, somewhere in there, maybe a little younger. And it just cried and it just cried. But then as you walk through the living room and on with the kitchen and a little sitting area, that's where me and this man and Mama and some more kids, we had made a pallet. And I remember hearing the baby cry, so I went in there and I asked my mom, could I help? And I took the baby, and the baby just cuddled up to me and laid its head on my shoulder, and it let me rock it to sleep. And when I got it to sleep, my mom said, well, let it lay back down with me. But when I went to put it back down, it started crying again. And my mom said she would take care of it. So we're back in there, and Mama never did talk, but like she was laying like right there beside me, covered up and on her side, like I could see the back of her head. I couldn't see her face. Let that car go down the road. And so like once everybody went to sleep, me and this man decided we would go in Mama's bedroom. Because right there off that room is Mama's bedroom. And I can still, and the bedroom looked the same as it did that I remember as a kid. You walk in, here's her bed. Over here's the dresser, the chest of drawers, and then the dresser. And I remembered as we turned down the sheets, I said, this bed hasn't been slept in so many years. We need to watch for spiders and stuff. But then I noticed off in between there was a new room. It was like a secret room that nobody knew about. So when I walked in the room, it was like it was still in construction. But the walls were done. And I really can't describe the walls, but they were like purple and gold. But the way they were decorated, like in this purple and gold, were beautiful. And we were just looking at it just in awe. Like, this is beautiful, and this is a room we knew nothing about that Mama had been building. And just, it was beautiful. It was big, but you could still tell it was in construction, like the floor wasn't done, and there was some wood laying around, but the walls were beautiful. Then I woke up. I posted about the dream on Facebook, and a lot of people said that the dream could have been shown, that Mama's letting me know that she's okay, and that could be what her room looks like in heaven, and the baby could have been a baby that had passed on. Well, I had my first baby is in heaven. Most of you know, I've mentioned it. Her name's Megan. And, so I was wondering if Mama let me see my baby. And it was a beautiful baby, and it just hugged up to me and laid its little head on my shoulder. What do you think it means? What do you think that's going on in the house? Now, if you're interested, I'll do another story about things that has been going on in this house. A lot of people kid me and say my house is haunted for the things that we've seen and heard through all these years. But this has been since Mama passed. And another thing, my sister said the night that we got the news that my husband's grandmother passed away, my sister and my nephews came over. And of course there was a lot of commotion, crying and all going on in the house. But my sister said she heard something like heavy run up the steps from my son's room upstairs, but there was nothing there. But she could hear something laughing. And she said she's surprised that we didn't hear it, but she said none of us seemed to react to it. So only like she heard it, didn't see it, but like it wanted to make itself known. I don't know. Could it be just our imaginations running wild? What could it mean? I love Mama and I miss her terribly. But if I did get to see a glimpse of Macon, that was awesome. But if you're interested in hearing the other stories, I can do that. It'll probably be a while, but I can do that. But what do you think that's going on? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. And thanks for taking the time to listen.